Well then, Rashford talks. Ten Hag's methods are too much for a lot of this squad. We're going to dissect where a player can handle what Ten Hag's methods are and where a player cannot handle Ten Hag's methods. We're talking Gary Neville's plan for Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Sabitzer is talking. He's backing the manager. Is that the most damning comment? Is that the most damning statement we've had so far in terms of what Sabitzer's saying and comparing that to how the players are reacting this season compared to last season? Loads of detail in that one, which I don't think anyone has looked in depth about yet. So I'm about to do that now. Let's get into it. This is the United Vibe. I'm Adam. Welcome to the show, everybody. We are live. Get your comments in below on all the topics we're getting into tonight. There's loads to get into. And, I want to get your say. I want to get your opinions on everything that Sabitzer said, mainly, because that's where we're going to start with everything like that. I mean, Marcus Rashford, first of all, with Marcus Rashford, obviously, everyone's seen what's happened today. Marcus Rashford has gone to social media to defend himself. Well, I don't even think it was Marcus Rashford in the first place, but he has done. Rashford, first of all, I have to hold my hands up. I thought there may have been an issue there. I thought there might have been a problem with Rashford at weekend. He might have got the Ten Hag treatment, which I'm going to get into now, but it is official. Marcus Rashford was injured. He had a dead leg, and the late fitness test wasn't good enough. Ten Hag said, not good enough. We trust him. He said that. There's more stories come out today that was the case. There's nothing else to look into in terms of Marcus Rashford except pull your finger out, son, and score some goals. That's all we got to say with Marcus Rashford. There's not much more to talk about. We know his form has been bad, but we know that everything else isn't right at Old Trafford. That's the big problem right now. We know it's not good on the training ground, which is what I wanted to get into today, because I'll talk about exactly what Marcel Sabitzer was saying and the quotes he made regarding Ten Hag. But what I want to know is, and I'm going to put a poll up in the chat straight out the back, guys, which is basically the type of manager. Do these players need that harder type manager? That's what I want to say. That's what I want. Do they need it? Do you feel like they need it? Is this the way that United have to go forward? Because if it is, and you say yes to this poll, then you're automatically saying that it's Ten Hag all the way, back him fully, and let him do what he wants. Let him treat these players how he feels they should be treated. Is it about time that we had a manager in that actually told these players what they were worth straight to their face? Because that's one quote which stuck in my mind from Marcel Sabitzer's comments today. And that is that Ten Hag tells you it as it is. He just tells you straight. Is that a problem within Manchester United? Is there a problem at Carrington? Is there a Mexican standoff between the way that Ten Hag wants to train and the way he wants to manage this team and how the players adapt to that? I mean, one season in, everyone knows it. No matter what your workplace or wherever you are working, it's one manager comes in, a new teacher in a classroom, whatever environment you're in, it comes in the first year round, you're looking at it and you go, I can deal with this. But then does it become tiresome? It's like Sir Alex Ferguson and what he did. He managed it, and this is what the quality managers do. They managed to just implement it and adapt it season on, season out. And that season in, season out, and that's where they differentiate. They're different to the sort of standard managers within this league. That's where we're at with it, I think, with Ten Hag right now. It's second season syndrome. Are we willing to let and give a manager a chance with a second season and then go past that? Because this is where we all start going down on it. And I look at certain players, certain situations, and I look at characters within our squad right now, and I go, yeah, there are certain players that are not adaptable to Ten Hag's style. I mean, Marcus Rashford, for instance, number one. I've got a list of good and I've got a list of bad in terms of how Manchester United players are handling this. From what we've heard and what we've seen and actions, and these are all, it's not about being first about news. You dissect it and you look at it and you break it down like I have done. It's about the facts and what we're looking at and what is everything that we already know, but we'll talk about in a little bit more detail. The details are, it's like what I was saying, Ten Hag and how he handles certain players. Marcus Rashford is a prime example of a player that works under Ten Hag. Yes, and I think what happened last season, how Marcus Rashford was disciplined, is why Ten Hag is giving him more time. Now, that's up to you guys to say whether this sort of management style is going to work, because is this the problem with the favouritism rumours that we're hearing within Manchester United, where some players are now resenting other players because they're getting preferentials? Well, no, Marcus Rashford last season against Wolves, we've seen it. He was late. He has been ill-disciplined off the pitch. Let's be honest with Marcus Rashford. I think he's had his dressing down from Ten Hag recently this week regarding going out nightclubbing. I mean, if you was a Manchester United fan and you was out in Manchester that night and you see Marcus Rashford the day of the derby, whether it was his birthday or not, he's a role model to a lot of people. What this man has done, obviously off the pitch and on it for Manchester United. If you've seen him as a Manchester United fan out at night, partying after we'd just been smashed off the park by Manchester City, how would you feel as a football fan? How would you feel as a Manchester United fan? Answer me that question right now. That's what I want to know, because if it was me, I'd be like, get home, mate. Get home. You shouldn't be here. You should not be here. You should not be out clubbing the night after a football game. And I know it was an organised party, but you just got to open up that part of your brain, Marcus, and think it's the derby. This could go wrong. Maybe organise it for another night. Speak to the manager beforehand. Are we not capable of organising things within this squad and this football club? I mean, everyone's got their personal lives, and I'm not taking that away from him at all. But let's be honest, organise it. Rashford has had his dressing down. I automatically thought, and I hold my hands up, I thought there was more in it. Seeing Rashford on the sidelines, and I said it on my watch along, and I'll admit it when I'm wrong. And yeah, I think it's worth bringing up that we do look at things in worst case scenarios when results aren't going well, and there's nothing going right with Manchester United at the moment. So are fans okay to are we forgiven for thinking that everything that happens at the football club is there's something more to it? There is something going on. Marcus Rashford is on my list of good players that have adapted to Ten Hag. There's a few, and I'm only bringing out the ones that have had incidents. For instance. Ooh, there you go. There's a tongue twister right now. Don't forget to like the video, everyone. I've put that message in there as well. I'll be interested to see where this poll ends up as well, because, like I said, you are backing Ten Hag if you are saying that this is the way that we are going. If these players need this hard-hand manager, then you are pretty much accepting that Ten Hag is the right man. Because if you're looking at it in the long term, then Ten Hag, I feel like he needs this season out. And we're going to have to just grin and bear these results. And we're going to have to just look at these games week in, week out, game by game, and just try and get a result and get through. I don't know how we got to this, but we're here. I'm not happy about it, but I'm having to accept it. It's a long season ahead. We don't look like we're anywhere near in terms of style of play or systems or anything like that. Maybe let's see when we get a couple more players back in defence, because the defence is a big, big issue at the moment. I feel like the team are having to defend because the defence isn't that good, if that makes sense. But yeah, keep going off tilt. But yeah, do get your votes in on that poll, please, because I want to know where you're at with Ten Hag and his type of managing. Marcus Rashford tops the list for me. Discipline last year, discipline this year. Now, second season syndrome. This counts for the players as well under Ten Hag, not just the manager and how he handles it, but you've got to look at it now. Marcus Rashford, how does he now move forward from this? He's come out today and had his little his pop about things that have been said. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it was him. And we all know who runs that. We all know who runs that boat, who runs that ship. And it's not really Marcus, it's his PR team that that pretty much do that. But for me, Marcus Rashford, it all depends on him now. I think Rasha, as Ollie used to call him, I think it's up to him now and how he moves forward from this. This is a big, big moment in Marcus Rashford's career. You've come out with that statement online today. And yes, I think there are fans that just do go in over the top on him. Like I said, I've criticised Marcus Rashford, but I criticise him for what happens on his performances. And like I said, that added to it. I mean, I just think, like I said, just use your head. Don't go out after you've been beaten by Manchester City. It's not difficult. Organise yourself a little bit better. I mean, maybe his PR team should be looking at that instead of putting responses out on Twitter and social media. But yeah, I mean, I look at it and you got to be factual with what you say. I mean, I think the issue with Marcus Rashford and what happened before was his future at Manchester United. Well, let's be honest, Marcus Rashford's future at Manchester United is a definite. He's committed to his 5-year contract. He's on his big wages, whether you like it or not. He is a Manchester lad through and through. So in his head, he's committed to Manchester United. So yeah, there's no issue at all with Marcus Rashford's future at Manchester United. The only problem we've got is pull your finger out, mate, and let's get some better performances on the pitch. I think that's where we need to be with it. But yeah, he's adapted to Ten Hag, and I feel like he's one of them players that stands up. And what he does next now, he's massive in his Manchester United career. This for me is like, it's not so much him and where he's going. He's not going anywhere. But with this fan base, this is a big moment for him. And I feel like if he now moves on from this in a positive way, then he really can give the bird to them people that were slagging him off, to all them fans that were doubting him. But like I've always said, you've got to start walking the walk. Talking just don't get us anywhere. And we talked about this on last night's show, that the players actually came out after a solid-ish performance against Fulham, a good win away from home. They came out and started talking after it. They didn't say it so much before the game. They dealt with it on the pitch, and then they came out and spoke. So that's where we need to be with it. Guys, cheers for all your comments coming in. Let me know. I'm reading through a few of your... let me know what you think about Marcus Rashford, guys, as well, in terms of what happened today. Hamesh there says, big up, Adam. All the best for your new channel. Make Glasgow feel for the proper Manx elite club run by Yanks. Hate seeing an oil club dominate. Mate, honestly, Hamish, it pains me. It pains me. I was doing a bit with Lad Bible the other day, and they were asking me horrible questions about Manchester City and Liverpool, and you have to just answer them honestly, and it's just about being real. And if you're real and you're using your brain and not your heart right now, you know that we're miles behind everyone. Anyway, back to where I was. So Marcus Rashford is number one. Harry Maguire is number two for me in terms of my list of being able to handle the Ten Hag. Say what you want about him. I've said plenty. I've called him a greedy bastard. I'm not going to hide away from it. I'm just going to own it as it is. It will be pulled up on me in the future. I know it will. I didn't see any future at all for Harry Maguire, but he's played his part in the last few weeks. Yes, we were always going to get battered by City. I think I said that before the game. I didn't expect much. Harry Maguire is his standard, and City are a level above a lot of defenders in this league, to be honest, and you'd expect them to tear most teams apart. But Harry Maguire, for what he's had to deal with in terms of Ten Hag taking the captaincy off him, Ten Hag making it public that he didn't want him at the football club, he stayed. He's handled it. He's not kicked off a stink. He's not kicked up a stink. He's not come out on social media. I mean, again, family members, PRs, just shut up. Don't say anything. Let the players do the talking. Let them do the talking with the feet. Half the time, it's the people behind these players that cause the problem with everything. And they just need to learn just to keep the trap shut. Yeah, I know the abuse and that bad side of the abuse of things, and it's not even football related. Fair enough. But when you start talking football, you can't kid the fans. Even Gary Neville will say that. That was his dad's biggest line. You can't kid the fans. We know what's going on. We've got the eye test. We're watching it week in, week out. We know how bad this team is. We know how poor we're playing. So, yeah, look at it that way. Another player on my list of good in all of this, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I mean, what a turnaround. Looked like he was out the door. Looked like he was finished last season, the first half of the season under Ten Hag. But what did he do? No, he said no. He knuckled down. He changed his game. He came back. And honestly, I think the majority of United fans now would say that Aaron Wan-Bissaka was pretty much ahead of Diogo Dalot on that right-hand side. I don't think if everyone was fit, we had Luke Shaw back, for instance, all the centre-backs. We had a full defence to choose from. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka starts over Dalot at the moment. And that's what he did. He adapted to Ten Hag. He took the tough hand. He was miles out. He was nowhere near. Everyone was talking like he was going to be gone in January last season, Wan-Bissaka. But what did he do? No, he went back on the training ground. And I'm saying this and I'm making a point of this because there's a few players in this squad that could actually take a leaf out of some of these other players' books. It's the way it should be as a professional footballer. You shouldn't need social media. You shouldn't need people coming out and talking for you. You shouldn't need to post anything saying sorry about any performance or saying sorry about anything that's gone on in your life. You should just be doing your talking with your feet. And that's what Aaron Wan-Bissaka did. I feel like he has definitely adapted. Luke Shaw is my other one on the other side. Because let's not forget, the start of last season, it was Malacia. Luke Shaw had a stinker of a start, and then Malacia came in against Liverpool And yes, our season turned around and we started playing. And Malacia was holding it down. Luke Shaw, again, had to. And he did this when Tellers came in as well, Luke Shaw. But under Ten Hag, when Malacia came in, we all thought, oh, look at this guy. Had a great start against Liverpool. He was holding that position down. Luke Shaw came in and said, no thanks, this is my position, and went to that level which we knew Luke Shaw was when we first brought him into the club. He was playing at centre-back, he was playing at left-back. He was absolutely dominating and was the first name on everyone's team sheet and pushed for Player of the Year for a lot of people last season. Luke Shaw, again, there you go. That's a prime example of what should be happening on the pitch and what a player should be like when he's dealing with the adversity. And he feels like he's being hard done to. I'm not having it. I'm not of that ilk. I'm not that type of person. I just want to get on. I want to see players with the attitude of just getting on with it. Don't forget to give the video a like, guys. Let's get a few. Sorry, before we move on to the bad section of Ten Hag, I'm sure you know a few names on that list. I'll just go through some of your comments now. Creeping Brain says, state of some of the comments on Rashford on here. If he'd been for sale last summer, every club in the world would have been after him. The hatred he always gets is really weird. Rising from the ashes, says Moist says, we needed him. Maybe the armband was too much pressure for him. Yep, agreed. I don't know who actually are you talking about there. I was nearly going to say your name out as well then, but I think it's just below the watershed time. But yeah, good job I noticed that one this time. Players should learn and earn their spots. Players should earn and learn their spot in the squad. Palestra earned a substitution and is the right wing of many United. He's now the right wing of many United fans. Hopefully, Eric Ten Hag's first choice. That will be another one. We'll see. I think we talked about that last night. It'd be interesting to see if Palestra gets a bit more game time. I would be starting Palestra in Copenhagen. I think he's earned his spots. Let me see now. Pep has already gone on record regarding his admiration for Rashford. I mean, I understand the Rashford, and sometimes, like I said, when Rashford put that response out today, he was expecting the backlash in his side of things, I think. And yes, everyone's come to his defense and everything like that. Let's just not forget, like, you know, it's all right. We do defend him. The criticism he gets and the talk about him actually and his future at Manchester United is absolutely stupid because we know Marcus Rashford is going to be here for a long time. The manager loves him. The club love him. And obviously there's a big majority of the fan base that do as well. But what you can't ignore is the performances. And let's not forget about a lot of what has gone on this season. We've all sat there and moaned. Fans have left the stadium early. You're not supporting him then, are you? You're literally turning your back on the team because they're playing crap. So let's not forget where he was this season, where we are. We're not there. And there's a lot of these players that we're talking about now that still aren't performing this season for us. So there's fine lines, and we have to sort of take it as it is. But I feel like Marcus Rashford now needs to back this up. He's made a big statement, and it's pivotal. He needs to back it up. I understand the support. I understand the criticism. But it is all about what happens on the pitch at the end of the day, and that is what's important. I'm just going to check up on this poll, actually, and see where we're at. 80% are saying we need the harder type manager for these players. Yeah, I'm in that bracket. I'm just going to let this poll run through the whole video. Guys, not far away from 100 likes now. Get your likes coming in, people. We're looking to get to that 150 mark again, possibly 200 today. It's a push if you're not liking Rashford. But yeah, cheers for all the comments. I'm just reading through a few of them now again there. Sorry. Yeah, but Rashford, Shaw, Wan-Bissaka, Harry Maguire. Now, I don't mean to go down this road, and I know what people are going to say right now because some people are going to come in and go, oh, here comes the English bias again. But yeah, they're all English. I don't know if anyone noticed that. It's sort of like, get on with it, knuckle down, let's not listen to the noise and move on. Let's just try and put it behind us. It's weird how it is and how they all are. English players as well. It's just like that mentality, that working mentality. And I'm not saying that's different than any other nationality, but it's just strange how them players have all dealt with things a bit differently. And the Premier League's a hard league. It really is a hard league. So you got to look at it that way and just go, look, these players have looked at, they're probably suited to the Premier League more and they can adapt to it a little bit more. They're used to it. It's what they've been brought up with. So, but then you move into the bad section. And right now, the bad section for me, obviously, we had Ronaldo last season. I'm still not letting Ronaldo off the hook. I know a lot of you disagree with me on Ronaldo, but it was just my look on it, how you just don't walk off the pitch while the game's going on, saying I've had enough. That was just it. Done. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. He did bring up some things. I'm talking about it, aren't I? God, I can't help it. But yeah, he did bring up some things about the Glazers and highlighted issues at the club, and a lot of people praised him for that. It's like, yeah, well done, mate. But I still feel like he used that to back himself up because he knew everyone already knew about the Glazers and how rundown United were and how crap we were. And I think he just wanted to get the fans on his side again after his pathetic walk off the pitch. But yeah, I mean, then you go down. And it's Jadon Sancho. He's next on the list. And obviously, I just talked about the English mentality and like the players that have adapted to Ten Hag and how they see it as a challenge and move forward. But Jadon Sancho has been the complete opposite. And no one's ever going to know the full ins and outs of what has happened with Jadon Sancho. We've heard people talking like Romano saying that Jadon Sancho is 99.9% done at Manchester United. They're looking to offload him in January. It's looking like it's going to be a loan. But this, I feel, is where Ten Hag and that hard hand has gone the complete opposite way. It's like that's a player there that I feel has looked at the preferential treatment of other players that I was talking about earlier on. That's how I feel it's gone with Jadon. I think he's one of them players. And I'm not saying I know what's happened. I'm just saying, looking in from the outside, the rumours of all of that, all of the favoritism and everything to certain players and other players not liking it, I feel like Jadon's on that side of it because we were talking about Anthony and his poor form last night, and people were talking about, does he have to leave Manchester United? Is his future unsecure at United? Some would say 100%. If you're not performing well, then you're obviously not going to get in the starting lineup. Then rumours start circulating and the talk is automatically going to come. Players are not going to sit on the bench forever. And it's right that we talk about Anthony's form. And it's right that we bring it up in the same voice as Jadon Sancho, because Jadon Sancho clearly has got a problem with Ten Hag and that side of things. I mean, if you're Jadon Sancho, let's just play devil's advocate and go, Jadon Sancho, when he's played this season, has he been the worst playoff? He's probably been on level with everyone else, which is pretty average, to be honest. So it's unfair to give him criticism more than anyone else when he's played. He has been poor alongside everyone else. I would say, in terms of Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, let's do a comparison right now. When on the pitch this season, who has been worse, Jadon Sancho or Marcus Rashford? I mean, what? They both got the same stats, I think. I think Sancho has got a goal this season. I'm sure Sancho's got a goal this season. I can't actually remember if he has now. But has Sancho been worse than Marcus Rashford this season? But Marcus Rashford plays week in, week out. So from Sancho's side, there's a problem right there for me. I'm looking at it as Jadon Sancho and I'm going, well, I'm just as bad as everyone else. Why am I not getting the same treatment? Why is it different for everyone else compared to me? Well, that's like I said then, in terms of like Maguire, for instance, or Luke Shaw. There's a player in front of Luke Shaw. There's a player in front of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. There's a player in front of Harry Maguire. There's 4 in front of Harry Maguire. He's took his opportunities now. And I don't think Eric Ten Hag is going to play Varane over Maguire now. Which takes me to the next name on the list, which a lot of people are going to find sort of strange or maybe not. The bad side of the reaction to Ten Hag's methods is Raphael Varane. Raphael Varane, for me, is our best defender. But if he's not playing ahead of Harry Maguire or Johnny Evans, when he is fit and on the bench, and Ten Hag has said he's in the squad and ready to play, then I look at that as a problem. Looking from the outside, I look at that as one of them Mexican standoff type situations. It's like, this is a player here that you said you wanted out of the club in the summer in terms of Harry Maguire. This is Varane talking right now, and how he looks at it. You've got Johnny Evans, who was just rushed in on a loan. I'm a World Cup and Champions League winner, still in my prime. I'm fit and available to play. Why am I not playing? And no one has any God-given right to play, but that's how I would be looking at it if I was Raphael Varane. And I feel like Varane is just on the cusp right now of going down that bad route. And I'm only judging it from what I'm watching because, I mean, you guys tell me, Evans and Maguire over Varane, is that right? Is that normal? For me, that's not normal. It's the only reason I'm bringing it up right now. I'm not like trying to cause problems here or trying to act like it's a big issue. But from the outs, for me looking in, for instance, I look and I say Varane isn't playing against Fulham when we really need a win, and Ten Hag's job is on the line. Let's not forget, Ten Hag's job was on the line against Fulham, and Varane is sat on the bench, and he's picking Evans and Maguire over him. Like I said, I explained Evans' emergency loan turned into a signing. Maguire was wanted out of the club. We accepted a bid from West Ham. We clearly didn't want him. He's playing ahead of him. We took the captaincy off him. Man, the guy looked like he was knocked out on the pitch. You still didn't bring him off, Ten Hag. I mean, honestly, I question Ten Hag on that side of things because Maguire clearly wasn't right. And yeah, Maguire, being the man he is, the typical English centre-back, wanted to battle on no matter what, and you sort of give him credit for that. But this day and age, a manager should be taking that decision out of his hands. And if Varane is on the bench and you've got a player clearly troubled by a knock he's took to the head, then I see that as a problem, me. I do. And I think that is one of the issues behind the scenes right now. I'm like I said, I'm not giving you definites of what's going on. I'm telling you from my opinion, my point of view, that I see that as a problem, and I don't understand how. I mean, Varane might play this week against Copenhagen and then get his place back, and I'm looking like a bit of an idiot. Well, it's not. It's still worth questioning, isn't it? When the manager's job's on the line and you're not playing a World Cup Champions League centre-back, then something's wrong. Let me know what you think. I want to read through some of your messages. Johnny Evans was preferred to Varane. It's on record. Yes, Varane is so fragile. It might just be that his fitness is being managed. I mean, managed. He doesn't play international football. We have 3 games to go before the international break again, where he'll get another 2 weeks off. He's just had a week and a half off. I'm not having this Varane injury and nursing him through. If you've got a player there that's on the bench, he's fit enough to play. I mean, we can't pussyfoot around players all the time just because of their history of injuries and their record. It's not on for me. I'll get into a few of your comments again in a minute. I'm just checking out the poll. Yeah, still smashing it in terms of Ten Hag system methods are working the best. 125 likes on the video. We're getting up to the 150 mark, guys. Get liking the video. Cheers for watching, everyone. Get your comments in as always. And yeah, guys, don't forget, if you do want to be a member of the United Vibe, just click on the description of this video, click on that link, and you will become an automatic legend of this channel. Be a United Viber and get on that membership. I'm just going to go through some of your comments now regarding Varane. What's up with Eric Ten Hag falling out with all of our players, one after another? Every manager should strive to be as similar to Sir Alex Ferguson as possible. Eric Ten Hag should do that to not get the sack. It's hard, mate. No one can be Sir Alex Ferguson. You can strive and you can use some of the methods, but it ain't that simple. It really isn't. I think there's a fallout between Varane and Eric Ten Hag, says Alistair. I agree that there's issues behind the scenes, but we have to trust the manager. If Ten Hag spoke public, everyone would be jumping all over him again, like the Sancho issue. I mean, this is it. It's like, how far do you go? How far do you go? Do we criticize Ten Hag for not saying anything? He overly gets criticized, like the comment said there, when he does start coming out in public. It's a problem. It is a problem. And it's not helping anything right now. I think he needs a settled squad. ultimately, if everyone was back fit, I do think the Varane and Martinez partnership would have helped us out a lot this season with a lot of the losses we've had. Luke Shaw, definitely. Aaron Wan-Bissaka would not be knocked off the ball or out strength like Dalot was at stages this season. Have cost us games. He really wouldn't. But they're my list, guys. They're my issues. And I do feel like there is a issue behind the scenes. I think there is a player-manager power struggle going on at Manchester United. And I think right now, Ten Hag is just playing players that are going to play for him. And that's why we have got the Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans and McTominay starting that game where he needed to win against Fulham. Ten Hag. He's just put the players that are going to run for him and play for him on that pitch. And we all know everyone on that pitch was his tried and trusted, really. Players that he's bought to the club, players that he knows are just going to get on with it and knuckle down, not kick up a stink. I mean, if you looked at the paper, if you looked at the names on paper, you would say that wasn't United's strongest team. But in Ten Hag's mind, he knows that team is going to run through brick walls for him against Fulham at Craven Cottage. And we got the win, albeit last minute again. It worked for him. Varane did come on against Fulham. He's probably saving him for the Champions League, as Varane can't play 2 games a week. Yes, he can play 2 games a week, Leo. He can. I'm not having that. It's important that we just remember that we cannot nurse players. Otherwise, it's pointless having them at the club. And Varane was playing plenty of games last season. 2 games a week, he was. Varane sits on the bench watching Maguire and Evans in defence. Must be pissed off at that, says Alistair. Hi, Adam, says Paul. What do you think about Sabitzer comments about missed 3 dressing room leaders in Shaw, Martinez and Casemiro? I think the plan was to sell Varane in the summer. I'm just getting on to Sancho's comment, not Sancho's, Sabitzer's comments next. So perfect timing with that one, Paul. Cheers for that, mate. Good stuff. Sabitzer's quotes are, well, they're on. Let's say, for instance, I've just gone through that list of good and bad in terms of how players react to Ten Hag's method. Sabitzer would be one of the good section, let's say, like, because he has praised Ten Hag and basically said that he turned his season and his football career around. He's absolutely over the moon with how his last 10 months have gone. He's learnt a lot playing in the Premier League and owes a lot to Erik Ten Hag in terms of getting himself turned around and back on the positive road. And it's interesting what he says about Ten Hag, Sabitzer, because he talks about how he is and the perfectionist that Erik Ten Hag is. He's a perfectionist in everything he does. You could wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and Ten Hag would tell you his game plan, every single bit of it in detail at 3 o'clock in the morning. He's constantly striving for perfection. I find the quote absolutely mind-boggling because you look at it and it doesn't look like he knows his best team yet. Is this the problem? Is it like he had this idea in his head? He's not been able to accomplish it with this crop of players. And at the moment, he's just making do. Is that perfectionist side just saying, look, this team is going to get me a 1-0 win. It's going to get me 3 points on the board. Rather than we're going to perform this way. We're stopping the opposition and we're going to get that goal. We're going to sneak that goal. Play solid, defensive, give nothing away, and our quality will show through in the end. It's not pretty. It's not nice to watch. Is it effective? Well, yeah. I think we've pretty much had all of our wins this season have come from that. Snatching goals here and there, tight little wins. We've not won a game by more than 2 goals yet this season, I don't think, have we? Apart from Palace in the Carabao Cup. But Sabitzer's comments there are one of the missing players in the dressing room. You look at United this season, it was unthinkable of United losing all these home games last season. That just wasn't there. So what has happened? And this is why I was talking about what I was in the first part of the show. Why has it changed so much from last season when it's still the same people in place? And I would say and argue, if you look at the first 12 games of last season, compared to the first 12 games of this season, you look at the players and the amount of game time that these players had, it's probably not too different, barring the injuries, obviously. But anyone who's been available, you probably look at it and you're probably saying, well, they probably had the same amount of game time at the same time as last season. You know, and this may be the issue of probably Sancho, because he's probably the one player I could think of who definitely played a lot of games early last season. And isn't getting the same this season. So is there a problem within there? But what Sabitzer said there probably rings very true. And it sticks in my mind. It is that there are no leaders available in that dressing room. He's talking about Martinez, now Casemiro, Luke Shaw. These are the leaders within the Manchester United dressing room. And they're not there now, and Manchester United are suffering for it. When they were there, he was saying it's like it was absolutely unthinkable that Manchester United would lose a home game last season. And one game all season. We're not counting the one against Sociedad because we were conned out of that by VAR. But that one game against Brighton and then nothing all the way through the season. That was the mentality last season. So where has that gone? Why is it so different? What has changed in that summer? Something drastically has changed. And this is what I said at the start of this show. It's like their methods work for a season. It's like a new teacher comes in, you do well for that year, you knuckle down, but you naturally just get tired and it needs changing again. And then the manager or whoever, the teacher, the new boss, you have to adapt. You have to find a way of getting through to everyone again. I just don't think Ten Hag has managed that this season. And then not having the leaders around, the disruption with the injuries, it's just added to it. And it kind of looks like it's lost control a little bit in the second half of the season. That's what it is for me. In this second season, sorry. And I think, like what Sabitzer was saying there, it's been a complete change. You cannot understand it. You cannot understand how it has got this bad. But big names count for a lot at Manchester United, especially in that dressing room. He was also saying he never throws a player under the bus. The biggest single point that I took from what Sabitzer's interview was, he doesn't throw players under the bus. He just tells you as it is. Now, if you can't handle that, you don't belong in English football, because I guarantee you, Jurgen Klopp would just tell you as it is. Pep Guardiola would tell you as it is. So how much of the managers gone by are an issue with what Ten Hag is having to deal with characteristic-wise right now within this squad? That's the question I'm asking. I think that there is a lot of Ole mentality still within this squad. The players could get away with a lot more, it seems, looking in. It really does look like they got away with murder under Ole. Ten Hag has come in and they don't like it. Again, they're all right to adapt for the first year, but then they've gone back to their old ways, it seems, in this second season with Ten Hag. That is what is the issue, I feel, for Ten Hag right now. It's like Sabitzer said there, he's not going to lie, is he? He's not going to, he's just telling it as it is. And Ten Hag is a straight talker. Now, if these players can't handle that, then we have got a big problem, because I don't see Ten Hag going anywhere. I do fear for his job and the pressure of results at Manchester United. I've said this before. But if the club can keep Ten Hag in place, then he's going to stay. These players have to buck up. They really do. Welcome to the members club, the Hornets Tiger. Absolutely brilliant. Cheers for joining the legendary Vibers Club. Brilliant stuff. If you guys do want to follow suit, the link is in the description. Just click on it there and pick your option. Cheers for joining the Honest Tiger. I said Hornets then, didn't I? Idiot. Sorry. I do apologise. It does get on top of me sometimes. It does. But yes, absolutely buzzing with that. Cheers for joining the Honest Tiger. Tell me something. Get your first question in as well, please. I want to know how you're feeling about everything that we've been speaking about tonight on the show. Adam, Erik Ten Hag needs to leave. We don't believe in favoritism. We don't believe, Jordan. I mean, who's we? I mean, is the favoritism there? Is Ten Hag just telling it harder to some players than others? I can't see that. I can't. I mean, everyone who he's dealt harshly with, I feel, or what you would look at as harshly, has come back and proven their worth. And for me, I don't get it. I don't think there is that favoritism to other players. I just feel like that's how players are looking at it, because they're not getting their way. And that's like I was just describing then. Like the players that got away with so much. It's going to take time to wean these players out. And hopefully we can just manage to get through this season. I do think he deserves another transfer window. And what a transfer window will bring for Manchester United, I don't know. This week is massive for United. It really is massive. Gary Neville was talking, you're going into the international break off the back of 3 wins. If United can get a win against Copenhagen and Luton, It's not a tall ask, is it, really? When you think about it and the opposition that you're up against in these next 2 games, it's not much, is it? It's not much to ask. Can you beat Luton at home and can you beat Copenhagen away? You win them 2 games, you're going in to the international break a little bit more buoyant, and then maybe you come back and you hit the ground running, because that's it now. This is the last international break until I think it's March into next year now. So it's football week in, week out, 2 games a week for United. Or will it be 2 games a week? I think a lot depends on this result against Copenhagen on Wednesday night. How quickly will things change with Sir Jim? That's a question, Alistair. That is a question. I want to talk about that next, actually, to finish up, because Gary Neville has been laying out his plan and how Sir Jim Ratcliffe has to approach this next stage. If he does come in, he needs to be very clear and have a plan out for everyone to understand exactly how this investment is going to go, where he's going to invest the money. Gary Neville's view on it is, and I think I'm sort of in the similar sort of thinking to what Gary Neville is, it's going to be like a staged sort of investment, bit by bit by bit, into the stadium. But what I want to ask you guys is, I mean, stadium or players? I mean, what's more important right now? Is it stability on the pitch and backing the manager, or is it the infrastructure right now? Should the infrastructure wait for a couple of years? Should we invest a little bit into Old Trafford and a little bit into the squad to give Ten Hag a chance? Maybe go out and get one of his top targets? I'm asking you, should we be spending the money on players rather than the stadium? But in terms of how Gary Neville's put it, I do agree. I think it is a case of it's going to be bit by bit investment into the stadium more, because we know, like he said, $1 billion spent by Real Madrid and Barcelona doing their stadiums, similar for Tottenham Hotspur. $250,000,000 isn't going to scratch the surface with Old Trafford, the amount of work that needs doing. So, yes. Adam, Rashi going on the United stand. What's your thoughts going in on the United stand? I've said it already. You're a bit late on Brigade, actually, Alien. I feel like it was his PR team. I feel like it wasn't Marcus Rashford. I do believe that it was all within the setup of Marcus Rashford and his future at Manchester United. I think that's stupid, because his future looks safe. He just signed a new deal, and obviously the manager's come out and backed him. So I think it's on that. But then again, on the other side, I do believe that Marcus Rashford does need to put up on the pitch as well. He does need to play a bit better. Well, a lot better than what he's been playing. But yeah, cheers for that, Alien buddy. I will be seeing you on Saturday outside Old Trafford for the Luton game. Guys, we will be doing a watch-along for the Copenhagen game this week as well. There are going to be changes to the schedule and everything going into the new year. I'll keep you all posted on that. But yeah, there is going to be some mixing up between games and watch-alongs and stuff like that. So I hope you all enjoyed the watch-along at weekend. It was eventful. Absolutely buzzing with my first one on United Vibe. But yeah, do join me again for the next one, which is Wednesday night against Copenhagen. It's guaranteed to be eventful. It's a high-pressure game. I will be on edge, and that's probably just as compelling viewing on its own. Me stressing out. Oh, God, yeah. It's going to be a tough one. It really is. It really is going to be a hard watch. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up everything for today. A lot of people have been private messaging me on a lot of stuff. And like I said, everything will be out soon enough. If you know what I mean by that, then yeah, you know, and you'll see. It will all come out eventually. Just stay tuned, everybody. But yeah, that is it, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to the United Vibe. Pretty eventful day without being eventful, really. Build up to Copenhagen starts tomorrow. So yeah, do tune in for that one, guys. And I'll bring you everything else that comes come out United in the build up to that. Hopefully it's going to be a good week on the pitch for us, and we can be just talking about simple football stuff rather than the carnage which is going on off the pitch. But guys, that is it for today's stream. I'm just going to double check on the hard hand of Ten Hag. 82%, 81% of you said in the vote that Ten Hag's methods are what these players need. The harder manager is what it's going to take to get these players turned around. We'll see, won't we? I think the harder hand is going to get rid of a few. That's my opinion. But that is it, guys. Cheers for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and obviously if you're tuning in for the first time, subscribe to the United Vibe. I'm Adam. I'm out of here. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one. Have one.